What's happening, guys? Vinny Coletti here from Growing Homes, coming to you from the beautiful country of Colombia. I'm standing on a mountain right now. Got some citrus right here. We're at our Airbnb, and we're about to post our 2024 Florida Permaculture Convergence panel, in which we talked about some of the success we've had with building a brand over the last few years. So we're going to talk about 3 things in which is important to us for building our brand, which is what is our purpose for building the brand, some of the framework we've used that has helped us go viral on some of our short form content. And then the last thing that we're going to talk about is the consistency to sustain a brand and to keep on growing that brand. So tune in right here and check this video out, and comment below if you have any questions. Got some beautiful oranges right here. There's a nice lime tree. Got a guava down there, a loquat. We're enjoying this beautiful country of Colombia. We had to pick an Airbnb that had some fruit growing near it. So stay tuned, guys. And like I said, comment below if you have any questions. We'll see you at the Florida Permaculture Convergence next year.
I'm Anthony Coletti. This is my brother, Vinny Coletti. This is my wife, Camila Coletti. And sorry, I'm a little out of it, guys. I was actually in the hospital last night till 2 a.m. and just from like some breathing stuff, and so I still wanted to make it out here today. So
he's a trooper.
Yeah. But yeah.
Vinny, Anthony, Camila. You think that's a little better? The sun?
Yeah, we can keep going. Scoot.
I'll rotate.
Okay, but I'm in the. Yeah, here. You use this then.
Here. Yeah, there we go.
Easy peasy.
So yeah, we wanted to break this into 3 parts. Basically, three of the things that we feel are some of the most important when you're talking about building a brand and being able to sustain that brand. So the first thing we wanted to go into, the key to sustaining the brand is finding your purpose. Like, why are you even posting videos every day or taking all these videos and wanting to, put yourself out there more on social media? So you guys want to touch on that first?
Sure.
Purpose.
Yeah.
What is it here?
So purpose,
purpose.
With the intensity of the social media world, which is kind of scary at first, like how are we able to sustain it and keep going and keep posting?
Yeah, well, I think like what you started saying is like, what is your goal? Why are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing it, for me personally, family? I think that food and family go together. So for me, having community and family like empowered for their own health, that's my purpose. That's what moves me. For them, it may be, different. Like, what is the purpose? So I know that in order for society to change in what I envision, like what it could be, then we need to start sharing that information so we all can implement. So that's my purpose. That's what keeps me moving and keeps me motivated.
Yeah, and to talk a little bit on a different angle of the purpose is, the reason it's so important to have that purpose and know that purpose before you go into your endeavor of your business and your what you want to do for the world is because it's not easy. And those days where it's really hard and challenging, like you just have to think about your why and why you're doing it. And you mentioned it too about like it helps you get out of bed. In the morning. It's like it's way deeper than us and our company and everything. It's we want to really help bring more health, better health to the world and
better
food and better habits. One of our sayings is we feel growing food is a gateway to a lot of other amazing things. So yeah, just a little bit more on.
On purpose.
Yeah.
It was on what's your purpose and
Purpose. Yeah.
Purpose to keep going.
Yeah, well, that's how I spoke a little bit about it on the last panel, but that's why I decided to like rebrand myself, because I was like, well, I'm making good money. I'm growing for these like very wealthy people, and I mean, it wasn't bad. They were friendly, they were generous, but I was like, I want to get out and help bring food to the world, like not just be working for like growing food for a very like select group of uber wealthy. I want to have I feel like I have the knowledge to like grow very nutrient dense food and heal the land, and I want to be able to do that on as much land as possible. So yeah, so
You missed it too, but introduce yourself. And,
oh, well, sorry.
No, it's okay. You weren't.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, so I'm Kristen. My business is Soul to Soil, and I was doing mostly
that
edible landscaping, or I should say edible landscape maintenance for the most part. And I'm trying to transition my business now into either more of a soil health consulting type thing. I mean, I'm really looking for land to start my own farm and build that, but yeah, I want to just bring food to the people, and whatever method I can do that through.
And where are you based out of?
Oh, right now I'm based out of Broward County.
You're close.
What city?
Cooper City.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah. Where are you guys at?
We're in Hope Sound.
Like close to Palm
We're
Beach.
from Hollywood.
Yeah, we're from Hollywood though. We know that
nice.
whole area, Cooper City, Davie.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
It's nice.
yeah.
Great place to grow.
Yeah, for the as far as the climate, but
Yeah.
the people, the cultural climate,
Sure.
maybe not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
If you could choose, where would your land be?
Somewhere where I can still grow tropical fruit. Right now, me and my husband are kind of looking for like degraded citrus land because it's a little bit cheaper, and because I've thought a lot about you know, what kind of land can I afford and where do I want it to be, and I decided if I get some kind of degraded citrus land, it's already been ag land for so long. Like I know I should hopefully not have to deal with like flooding and. It's pretty much bare, except for like all the dead trees, and it would also just be like such an amazing accomplishment and story, like for my business down the road, to bring back that land, like to be able to show what's possible with regenerative agriculture and biological growing methods, because I believe that I could make a huge difference like within a 2-year period as far as soil health. And
I think it's easy, huh?
yeah, I mean, it takes a little while to like understand the principles of soil health and like how you're gonna, you know, accomplish that. But once you get the basics down, I mean, I think the business part is like the hard part, honestly. Like, yeah. So, you know, maybe in a year or two, look for my farm, and I'll have some good stuff for you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, and just curious, how many of you guys, like, raise your hand if you've heard of Growing Homes before right now or followed our brand?
Awesome.
Could be.
Cool, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
I'll see
you.
guys on
Thank you.
Instagram.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
And that was a good transition. She was talking about the business side. And you guys ever heard of Tommy Hilfiger, the brand? Like, massive, massive brand. So we were watching an interview with him, and just like how fashion is an art form, growing food is also an art form. And the person interviewing him was like, "Hey Tommy, what percent of your brand is like the business, and what percent of it is the art?" And Tommy Hilfiger thought for a second, and he's like, "It's probably 80% business and 20% art." So with that, and he went into a whole bunch of things about, you know, knowing the data and all the little nitty gritty that has to do with, you know, being inside the business. So the second thing we wanted to talk about in this panel is about like the framework and some of the data that helps build the success on social media. Because in today's world, we don't, like, not all of us have a good attention span. So people they call it doom scrolling through it. But how do you get them to stop on yours? Like, how do you get them to like, oh, this is interesting? So, you know, to touch on that, a few of the things that we realized is like the first 5 or 6 seconds of your videos that you're posting online to build your brand, those are the most important. Those is what's going to cause someone to keep going or to stop and want to actually listen to what you have to say. And the more people that want to listen to what you have to say, the bigger the reach you're going to have. So, you want to touch on some of the things in the first 5 seconds?
Yeah, so that's what we call the hook. So you're basically hooking them, and think about it before we get into explaining the, you know, how to go more viral and reach more people. Don't think, you know, well, you guys can think kind of how you want, but we kind of think it's like, how can we reach more people, to teach more people, to inspire more people? That's kind of like the intentions behind it. Like, you have intentions of, you know, what do I want to put out there in the world? That's kind of how we look at all of our videos. So the first 5 to 6 seconds, it's always about like, hey, those 5 or 6 seconds is basically about the next 30 to 40 seconds is going to be. We're talking about like shorter videos, not really the longer videos. Hey,
Yeah.
Cameron, what's happening?
Yeah.
So the first 5 or 6 seconds is like really like something very interesting about the next 30 seconds and like a little bit of a nugget. Like we call it a little bit of a nugget.
So for example, one of the things, my favorite hook, the one that I use in my videos is, did you know? Did you know that this plant this? Did you know if you do this, that? Did you know if that? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people like are going to social media to see things that they've never seen. So when you start teaching people, like, what do you mean that there is a fruit that is called a sugar apple that looks like a dragon egg, that is all weird looking? It's just like people that piques interest. So there is several. Did you know?
If you're living in
If
Florida.
you're living in Florida,
Hit me emotions.
yeah. There is this like a random fruit that you have in your garden, or did you know mangoes this or that? It's just like those. When you're watching social media, in what videos do you stop and watch? That can like also help you, like, what is the hook that could be good for me? Yes.
Yeah.
You guys said earlier that you're playing with lower funnel too, so you guys are kind of going into more transactional with selling sugarcane.
Yeah,
as
like-
mentioned.
Yes.
But did you know it does not work on with lower funnel tactics? I've done some A/B testing there, and it doesn't.
Yeah. What do we have?
From an awareness standpoint, I think it's a good thing.
For us, I think we've all, like, if you want to grow your own sugar,
Yeah.
that has helped us maybe. But we had one. I think it did well.
Yeah, this was a good one for Sugarcane. Was like, we like Vince said, we started out by saying like, hey Floridians, did you know that you can grow your own sugar right outside your front door? And then we showed
Yeah.
the video of the that went pretty viral.
Or the health benefits.
So we kind of combined them too. Like we
Yeah.
like to combine them all. So, where we say, did you know that instead of growing regular grass, you can grow a grass called sugarcane? Which can provide you with amazing health. So that's another one, health benefits. Like we really like to add health benefits in with the videos, teaching people, not just it tastes amazing, but hey, it's amazing for you, and here's
Yep.
why. But trying to be very like summarizing it, because with a shorter video on Facebook or Instagram, even TikTok, it's a shorter video.
Yeah.
But the YouTube, we also have a YouTube channel, and that's where you could explain. Like you could go into a certain topic for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and then talk about another thing 5 minutes. With the social medias and the shorter reels, the shorter videos, you really want to summarize it. So there's a framework, which is the hook, which is the first 5 to 6 seconds, and then the middle of it, we call it the meat of the actual video, and then the last probably 5 to 6 seconds it's called a call to action.
Give them something to do.
Yeah, it's basically, follow us for more food growing tips. That's kind of what we say.
Share
Or
this with
share
someone
this with a
interested.
friend that would love to grow this sort of fruit, or
Yeah.
so that helps you build the following.
And
You know what I
also
mean?
using really simple language, because I realized that at the beginning when we started doing videos, like we wanted to teach so much about agroforestry or permaculture, and we start using all these terms that people are not familiar with. You just lose them. Like it's just like, okay, you just keep scrolling. So we follow. If you want to check it out, his name is Alex Hormozy. We have a lot, we've learned so much from him.
Yeah.
So one of the things that he says is like, keep it 3rd grade level. I mean, just simple language, and that has helped us a lot too. Yeah.
And the American population is reduced to a 3rd grade level.
Do you ever have problems with your brand coming off as we only have an elementary understanding of information, or even y'all aren't using or it's actually called this, it's this technical word, y'all are, you're misnaming things or misbranding, or any of that, like problems with the educating side whenever you do try to bring it down to that level?
Good question.
So yeah, that we see that with some. It's a good question, and I'm trying to think how we can navigate this. But some other people in our industry may think that we're keeping it too simple or maybe misleading, and maybe I don't know.
I wouldn't say misleading.
So
but
not
like-
misleading. So it's just that a lot of like really passionate people about plants, they get really like
one side.
In one, like, oh, you need to use a scientific name, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. At the end of the day, what we want to do is bring more people in. So you could, like, at least for me, when I was in school, when it was hard, like, you just don't want to pay attention, right? So our perspective on it is, if you make it really simple, and then people start slowly diving into it, then themselves, if they're really interested, they're gonna get more interested in like the scientific names and like the soil biology. That is amazing, but if you start talking about soil biology from the beginning, you're gonna lose them.
And I say that because I'm very technical and I want to
Yeah.
educate properly. So do y'all separate your information? Maybe like YouTube's more technical and Instagram,
Exactly.
TikTok.
You go into it more on the YouTube because it's long.
Yeah.
You can actually explain it and have more than a minute. You know, you put more context into it. But another thing, kind of like I talked about earlier for you guys that were here, growing food has been around for a long time. Like, it's been thousands of years, whatever it is, but a long time. But nowadays, like, if you look at the statistics, it's like maybe 1% or less of people are actually growing their food. So we figured, okay, there's 99% of the people that are scrolling all day. They have no clue about growing food, right? So we kind of took action on that. It's like, how can we inspire the 99%? How can we motivate them? How can we just teach them, hey, there's 500 or 1,000 plus mango varieties. There's sugar apples. There's Arillenias. There's soursops. There's all these. So it's like, yes, those people that are in the 1% like may get, they talk about basic stuff. They talk about this, but we don't care about that because we're trying to get more people into this.
Yeah.
And then as a gateway, the snowball, like, that's how we were. We had no clue there was other
It started
foods
with a mango for us.
food. We had no idea. But then when we started realizing, hey, there's this, there's that, and it's like, what else is there? And then, so it's more of like, we see our brand and where we're at right now as a company is like the gateway to try to get more people into
it.
Healthier habits, growing their own
Make
food.
growing food cool again, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So another thing with that is that if you have like plant people that are criticizing you, or that's gonna happen, don't pay them any attention. Like, that's one of the things that we wanted to touch base on. Like, it's okay, let them say, oh, you're not teaching properly, all these things. Like, it doesn't matter. If there's like something that you can implement for like, oh, that's a good tip, I should pay attention to that, yes. But if they're just criticizing when you are the one doing the effort and actually doing the work, who cares? Like, it's just, you're doing the work, right? That's all that matters.
I was going to say, on that note, one of the best things I've ever heard on that is the Stoics of ancient Greece once said, you cannot teach someone who feels they already know.
Boom.
If you can acknowledge those people for who they are, they're gone right there. You can lose all your energy and effort in them, or you can just ignore it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some friends that
Yeah.
we've kind of gone separate ways with and it's funny, like,
sad.
if we just remove the social media aspect of it, we'd probably still be friends, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've heard it brought up at several of the panels. Kristen, you talked a little about it as well. We had someone mention it earlier. Microtalk, somebody said about it last night as well. How do y'all deal with, like, and not to say that it's inherent for everyone, I don't so much always feel this way, but thinking about combating, like, what feels like inauthenticity, what kind of feels like fake, how do you maintain both that honesty with yourself and with that platform, as well as just being unapologetically open and accepting that, because it's going to happen, and especially in this field, like, we want to be, like somebody said last night, it's so hard to be present with your garden when you have a camera in your face. So just kind of thinking about that balance, and also, like, how would you advise people to become more comfortable with that as well?
It's a great question. So basically, not being afraid to play the fool in the beginning.
Let's go.
Because it was something that we all had to get over, and what helped with us is having three of us, to motivate each other, and then having that bigger purpose where, it doesn't matter what everyone else thinks, and if you mess up in the moment in the camera, you could always hit delete and try again.
Yeah, that's it.
So, like, in terms of when you're first starting filming, try to get someone to film you while you're not even realizing you're being filmed. Like, maybe you know, me, like Kami is asking me questions. I don't even realize the camera's on me, and it's just a good dialogue between us. Then you start to get more and more comfortable with the camera being on you, and then it's like it's not even really there anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
It's gonna be really uncomfortable at the beginning. Like you just feel like you get cringe about yourself. You're just like,
Especially here.
Listen, I don't watch my videos when we're making them. I don't watch them after we're done because I'm like, if I start watching them, I start nitpicking. I don't like how I look here, and I don't like how I said this. I just don't even watch them. Yeah, especially us being women, like it's like I don't know. It's so I. Yeah, exactly. So I don't watch them. I'm like, whatever, however they come, they come. If I don't like them, who cares? Like, whatever, right? So it's gonna be hard at the beginning. You're gonna feel really uncomfortable. You're gonna post the video. Like, right now we go back to our old videos and we're like, wow, wow. But it's just part of it. So it's like we touched base on that before. It's an infinite game. So you're always gonna get better, and I'm sure that in 5 years we're gonna look back to our videos and we're like, wow, you know. So it's a process.
Yeah, an infinite meaning we want this to live on longer than way longer. Like, you know, our grandkids and kids, they're going to be able to harvest the fruit that we grew at the different properties, and you know, be able to share. They're going to be able to see all this content that we've made, and so think, you know, way beyond, you know, our just us. So another quick thing I wanted to mention, like something that's really that really has helped us with like learning about. Vince talked about like the data and figuring out what's working and what's not working. You could change your Instagram into like a business account, and it has, if you Google how to change my Instagram account into a business sort of account, like you could see, it'll say like the average person left your video within the first 6 seconds. So what we found is, just to give you guys some more context, if you're able to keep somebody for 13 seconds or more, it's usually a pretty good video, 12 to 13 seconds. But if they leave within the first like 7 to 8, it's just kind of not
the
as
hook's
good.
Probably not there.
It's not as good of a video. So that's what's been really good with us is we've changed our Instagram to a business side of it, and same with Facebook. They have what is it called?
Business manager.
Meta
business manager. Meta
so
business suite.
Yeah, so you could see, and you know, it's kind of what your question was. It's like, say you start making a lot of content, right? And you kind of go back, and you could even see, you could put it into where like your most popular videos to like your least, and then you just keep watching those over. Like we've studied, like we're studying these 12 videos do really good. Okay, let's remake them, but maybe add a little bit different and add a little more facts into them. You know what I'm saying? Or a little more of like fun facts or more education. Yeah, because the same framework.
Yeah, if it worked once, it's usually
they're gonna keep
work
working.
Again. And like we take the emotions out of it. Kind of what Camila was saying. Like she kind of videos and walks away, and like like sometimes the videos we don't think are gonna do anything are the best ones.
And they explode.
And it's like the videos that we emotionally like, this is gonna be amazing. I spent so much like hours editing this. It does nothing. So like you have to take the emotions out of it and look at that data that Anthony was talking about.
The market will tell you what's working. So that's it. You like when you take, like he said, you take that. Oh, but I thought it was so good. You just take it out of there. Don't pay attention to it and
get
just
better.
Get better. Just get better.
Yeah, exactly. You got to keep looking at the data.
Hashtags. Yep. Yeah. The locations, hashtags, all that.
So anyone else have any questions about the framework before we get into maybe the third thing we wanted to talk on? Good. So the third thing that we wanted to touch on for building a brand is the consistency. Because when you start building a brand, there's going to be people that like enjoy seeing your videos every day, or not every day, but you know, however much you post. But it's posted on a consistent basis. Like that's what really has helped us the last few years. Is we haven't really taken like a break too long of in between of posting. Like we committed to it. And we're just consistently knocking them down and factoring videoing into our everyday schedules. Not that we do it every day, but like having different time slots. Yeah. So, let's touch on the consistency a little bit.
To go into that a little bit more on how we implement it into our day and our schedule, like I would say at least once or twice a week. We'll go around. We have a food forest where we live. You know, it's not just at our different rental properties that we own. We actually live, like, we have no grass. Like, our neighbors, you know, you talked about it earlier, but at first they kind of thought we were nuts, but we didn't care because, like, we knew we were going to have, like, we believed in what we were doing. And now they're all like, oh, the bananas
They're growing
are amazing.
food.
They're growing food.
Our neighbors are
But
growing
wait, let me-
food. Sorry.
So, so, man, what was I even?
The
Oh, I'm
consistency.
sorry.
of
Yeah, so
putting
the
into your
consistency.
day.
So about, I would say about twice a week. We take about, I would say at least 2 hours, and we have this thing called a gimbal as well, and that really helps. It's like a stabilizer. We hook our phone up to it, and it, like, you know how if you guys ever take videos, it kind of looks all shaky looking. So you could buy it on I think Amazon or somewhere online, and you hook your phone up to it. It's called a gimbal. They're really not too expensive, and it stabilizes that image. So we use that. We probably go around I would say 70% of our content is filmed right in our front yard, in our garden, on a phone, and we take probably 2 hours to film, and then Vin works. Vin was the person that was doing a lot of. We had an editor that taught us a bunch, and then Vin kind of took it on himself for how long?
Like 4 or 5 months.
Like
learned
editing.
Adobe Premiere, if anyone knows about that.
Adobe learning.
Premiere.
He's did that.
Chopping it out. That was fun. I still do it when we need help, but
So it's the filming, or first it's more about figuring out what you're gonna say first. You know,
framework.
Figure out the scripts, then get into the videos, then it's the editing, and then captions. Captions is very big too.
Huge.
We like to say, kind of like the first. How do I explain this?
The
So
first
when you're
line.
scrolling and you see the first line or two, like, you want to be able to put your main point in that first, because a lot of people don't know, hey, you could click more and read more of the actual post, like there's more to it, the description. So in your description, it's the same kind of thing as like the hook. Like the first 5 seconds of your video, you want to have that in your first, like, 2 sentences of your description. So that's another big thing that I wanted to add, to really bring it home, like, what that video is about, you know, because if they don't like what you're saying, they may go down to the description, they meaning the people watching your videos, and then if something catches them in the description, they'll go back to watching the video again, and then you'll be able to help them even more because, you know, they'll watch the whole thing instead of 5 or 6 seconds.
I want to say something about the editing. Like, this is process of 2 years, you know, that now we have a person that is full-time in Vinny. But you don't have to start with an editor. Like, you can just try to do it the best that you can on the first time, or like choose the best parts of your video. Just do it yourself, put the captions, and that's it. If you see there's people that have been really successful with plans in social media without like having a professional editor. Like, they just have the caption. So start simple, and then from that, when you start growing, building up into Adobe Premiere, and then getting an editor, so it's not that like complicated. You had a question?
I did have a question about just closed captioning on the actual video, because a lot of brands nowadays will kind of bubble it up and make it huge and eye-catching in like different colors, and greens and reds and yellows. I find that it can be a little, I don't know, it's eye-catching,
a little much.
but it's a little much
So,
when you're scrolling.
yeah, to answer that, some of our best ones have just been from Vinny doesn't like it. Sometimes, like, I'll make my own, like, because
I don't like it.
Not that he's like, it doesn't match our professional ones. You know, I'll make, like, man, I got a good idea. I'm gonna get my phone, film it, put an Instagram caption that, you know, it auto populates it.
Yeah.
And
They have
and
crushed.
they've done really well. You
Yeah.
know, so start with that.
Simple.
You
Yeah.
know, and
Folks will scroll without sound.
yeah.
The captions are big. The captions, they help for sure. And like, one thing where you learned where to put them, like, you want to put it like right under the person's chin that's talking in the video.
Right.
Because like, if say I'm standing up and my captions are like on my knees, it could be distracting for the person like looking at the captions, looking at your face. You kind of want the captions right under, like right on the person's chest if you're gonna do it.
there's like a box that we try to have all our captions in. in the video.
Okay.
So,
But yeah, that's a little more technical. Like,
Yeah,
you don't have
we
to
went
start
we
there.
went deep.
You
We
don't
went
have to
deep.
start
Yeah,
there,
yeah. You don't have like. I think that a really key point is the discipline, the consistency.
Yeah.
The videos don't have to be fancy. Just one video a day you can start with. Like if you have herbs in your garden, hey, did you know this herb you can make a tea and it's good for this, this, and that, or
the value.
the value. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to be super elaborate. You just have to get out there, make a video of 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and that's it. Post it.
Yeah, and right into it too. We used to like, hey, my name is Vince with Growing Homes. How's it going, guys? Boom.
They're gone.
Kind of lost
People
them.
leave.
Instead, it's just you could do that on YouTube, but like with short form, just you could grow this right in your yard or right outside. Did you know? Like just go straight into the video. Like that's a little bit
right
of a nugget
into the video.
there.
Like instead of, because by the time you introduce yourself and your brand and your company,
People, like, to be honest, people don't care. Like
yeah.
people don't care
That's
what your
taking
name
emotion out.
is. Yeah,
we call it they're gone. Like,
they're
that's
gone.
what we
That's
say.
it. You lost them.
See ya. Like, you know, you watch. We even like we watch some people's videos sometimes too, and you know they don't even start talking for the first 7-8 seconds. So what happens? Like you don't engage the 99% of people that are just on there going like this all day, and they leave. So you know you have to really, that first 5 to 6 seconds is really important.
Yeah, because the brand is like, it's almost like we do 3 different types of content or a couple different types of content. Like the people that have been following us for a while, but the majority of our content we like to be able to reach new people that have never even heard of us or nothing. So it's like your majority speaking to those people. Like if your aspirations, like right now I think we're sitting around 60,000 followers on Instagram, but like we want to have hundreds of thousands.
Millions.
Yeah, millions, exactly. So it's like you got to think of that frame. To get to 1 million, I still got to meet 940,000 more people. So you got to keep on explaining what you do. You can't just like assume that like 2 weeks ago I already posted about that, so that's gonna be boring. No, like a whole new round of people are gonna see it.
Yeah.
Like you have 900,000 more people to see, to meet you guys, to meet us, you know? So that's a framework that we keep in mind as well. So you want to constantly like, once you, after the hook, you got to remind them like, you know, who you are, what you're doing this for, like, stuff like that.
Did you have a question?
I was thinking, also if you did one, you can also reframe it and
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if it
Yeah.
works. You're like, wow, this hit. I'm gonna rebake this one.
We call it leaning in. So we already know it works. We just say it a little bit differently and post it again. Also, we also get inspired from other creators.
That's
Like
key.
we see what they did and we saw that they were successful doing it, and we just, with the same subject, the same essence, we do it our own way and we post it. So you can see how people show their fruit and gets millions of views. Maybe you can do the same thing too. So like we are constantly getting inspired from everybody, and like it's just like a cycle of inspiration. And I think that could be great.
Is it Alex Famosi?
Alex Hormozy. HORMOIZ. Or ZI.
ZI. RMOZI.
Yeah.
He has a couple
Good,
of different
man.
books out that he's written, and
Yeah.
younger guy, really locked in.
Yeah.
But another thing that Camila mentioned too, if you guys are making content, what we've found that reaches more people as well is when you're standing in front of the fruit tree and it has fruit on it, and you're either picking it or you're talking about harvesting it.
Oh, yeah.
That really, because that's emotional. People could see the fruit. They could, you know, Camila's like, I want to open it and taste it. Like that's even better. Like when you open it right there and you're tasting it, wow, it tastes like this. Because another thing too, guys, when people comment, like comment them back, you know, write them back. Like,
that's big too.
You know, that's something that we take pride in, and we write people back, but they'll tell you kind of like what you need to know about making your next video. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
how does it taste? Okay, man, let's make a video about how
Answer
it
the
tastes.
questions.
Okay, how do you know when it's ready? All right, let's make a video so when you start really engaging in your following and your comments and your messages, it kind of gives you that that next video to make.
Yeah.
So that's big too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's huge.
Have y'all done something like a B-roll where
Oh yeah.
it's showing the
Every video.
Every
Oh, yeah.
time.
Okay.
Every time.
We
The framework
take
is film the person talking. So film Anthony, and then it's like 3 pieces of B-roll about
The
the tree after.
fruit, this, that,
So
yeah.
now we could mix it in, because that's another thing, like the pattern disruptions. Like if it's just on your face for too long, it might get boring for people. So it's like you're talking, then it's like the fruit getting picked, and then back to you talking. And this is more of like the technical things, but that definitely helps as well.
Yeah. So
I'm curious how do you kind of translate this into like sales? Like how do you know if you're being successful in actually generating revenue?
That's a great question. So the first year and a half, we were just doing it without really having any products on the plant side. But businesses,
just to create the brand,
yeah, like businesses that we were following, entrepreneurs that we were following, they're like, if you have a business, you want people to know what you do. So like the growing food side was always like to get more people interested in, so that we could tell them that we're in real estate, But then it evolved into, now we have 2 digital products. One of them is e-commerce shipping sugarcane. So back to your question, like we have these triggers on our specific posts that like comment the word sugar or comment the word this, and literally like it lets you know like the data, like the third-party website that we use to help with all that. So like it's super trackable as to like if that video performed, how many comments of the word grow that you got. So like we really look at the data hard on that stuff.
Yeah, there's a thing called Many M-A-N-Y
ManyChat.
And what it is it's a third-party company that you connect to your social media, to where I'm sure you guys are seeing people start putting like comment the word this, and then instead of us having to go through all these comments, it literally it even has a way to where you could put different responses. Like you could put 10 different responses to where it's like, thank you so much for reaching out. Check your messages. We sent you more information.
Yeah.
And then from there, ManyChat sends them an automatic direct message with the link. And from there though, it's not just the link to go buy something. It's we created another video from that.
Yeah.
And then they go to that, and then they watch another video, which is longer than just 30 seconds. It
Explaining it more.
Explains it more, and then there's information where they can click and purchase that product. So, yeah. So it gets, but like Camila mentioned, none of this is like overnight. It's like it's taken us years to really figure it out, and we still don't feel like we're not.
We haven't even gotten into YouTube yet. Like a whole nother long form is a whole nother thing. We're probably gonna need like a whole nother editor for that. But yeah, right now we're just focusing on the short form content, and that's what we've had some success with, and that's what we wanted to share with you guys.
Yeah. So from my perspective, what I would like you guys to take with you would be, the first thing is your purpose. Like why are you doing it? The second thing is that it's okay if some people are not okay with what you're doing. Just let the haters be haters and whatever. And the third thing is that consistency. Even though it gets hard and uncomfortable and whatever it is, you just gotta keep doing it 1% every day, and that's it.
And you look back, and I think there's a quote like, you don't connect the dots looking forward, you connect them looking back. And like, that's something that sometimes we don't always look back a lot, because we're really hard on ourselves. Like we want to keep growing and growing. But then when you kind of look back at where we came from and literally started from zero, like, that's what you're like, man, this is
gratifying.
Happening, So having those checks of like, patting yourself on your back once in a while of all the hard work you're putting in, because it's a good amount of work, but you tie your purpose into it, so it's so fulfilling. You know?
Sure.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Comments, anything, whatever you guys want.
Do you guys offer, like you say, you offer
Consulting.
information in a video? Do you offer have you guys the ebooks or something
that's a
free
great
you can download?
In what subject, this specific?
Any of
Growing
any of
food.
your-
Growing food?
Yeah, when you're doing the brief,
So
when they do the
I love that question, because we've just spent the last 7 months building a little online course that basically shows how we go and install on our own properties, our different rental properties. We literally, it turned into like a documentary. So we just launched it yesterday.
Was it the upstairs?
Yeah, that was one of them. Yeah.
That was what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we put that together as a way, like, it's super good for people that are just getting started in it. So that comes with the brand. Like, once you have the brand, you could start creating different products that then you could let people know that you have. So yeah, we're starting to get into the stuff
It's
like
called
that.
if anybody's interested, it's called the 7-Day Food Garden. It
7-Day
actually,
Food
Vinny
Garden.
spent hundreds
$7.
of hours.
Maybe thousands.
Maybe
$7.
thousands of hours. Yeah, we put it out for $7.
Yeah, we made it real effective, like
real
cost
affordable.
effective.
Yeah,
We're in Hope Sound, Martin County.
it's just north of Palm Beach County. Yeah. So yeah, we put it for that price because we wanted everybody to have a chance to buy it. You know, one of our things too when we first got in the business is like, you know, we went around to different farms and different edible landscapers, and you know, you start seeing the costs, and which is and they have to charge. Yeah, it's justifiable, but the designs, the labor, like the installations, it's hard for, you know, an average person to hire somebody.
Yeah.
So we're like, hey, how can we help more people grow? And it's hard to explain. You know, you could like 30 seconds. You can't explain like
No.
the soil. So we put together from A to Z. It's called the 7-Day Food Garden, on literally from design to plants,
taking out
to
the grass,
taking grass,
going to the nursery, getting the plants, the natural fertilizers.
yeah, the
everything.
mulch, all of it. So we put it all together, and we launched it last night. So
Last night. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Thank you. So.
and we're gonna another thing, we're gonna keep adding to it too. It's not gonna
more
just be a
videos.
course that's stagnant. Every time we have a new property as well, we're gonna put more information. Hey, we learned this about this and this. This
and just
area.
the one-time $7, that's it. Like, the only reason we're charging is because it costs us a couple $100 to keep it going every month.
How many do we have to sell to break even?
I think we got to sell 40 a month to break even.
Just to break even.
40 people got to buy it to break even. So, but which is like, we'll take the, like, if not, it's all right. Like, it's just our way, because we get asked a lot, like, for help. But, like, we're still not a huge team yet. So this is our way, like, hey, we put this together to help you out, type of thing.
Well,
Hey, I just wanted to say, related to what you guys do, we have a free database in Florida that lists regenerative projects, businesses, services, anything you're doing that's regenerative.
Nice, yeah.
Non-profit, free, community-based. We really want community input. Really appreciate it. That helps us, because we're, with the whole idea is like, let's come together and support each other, raise all of us up.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
wanna leave them there?
check that out for sure.
So thank you.
Any legal trouble at all?
Legal
We
trouble.
are in Broward and we have problems with our food garden, so.
Yeah, I would say for that is we've really keep our properties like clean and maintained, and we've heard that too with like when it kind of gets out of hand. But right now, like our neighbors love it. Like, we ask them, people driving by on golf carts and stuff, like they come by our house just to look at how.
Is the city the problem?
Yeah, but she doesn't have a house on the property, so.
Oh, it's just land.
Food, so it's a lot of
Okay. So
issues.
put a hedge up. That's kind of what we've done too. Is like we put a nice hedge, and they can't. It's a nice hedge.
Well,
like,
it just.
in
that term, personally, I'm really rebel in that scenario. But it's just like, why would you be criticizing somebody that's growing food?
It's a good
Makes no
thing.
sense.
Yeah.
So, like, we
Try the hedge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big hedge in the front. Keep it maintained.
I did have a question about like tenancy and how you guys kind of work with people who might be interested in living in a place like one of your.
Can I take that?
Yeah.
So, I'm the one that's doing the property management. So, sadly, even though the people think it's cool, it's not like they're renting because of the garden at the moment.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get there for sure. So like talking about the long term, we see our properties being like people want to live there because of the food. Like it's gonna get there because our bigger picture is developing with the garden already in mind, like around. Anyways, but that's the bigger picture. So right now the tenants are just people that are looking for a place to live, and they just have an added bonus of having a garden in the property.
And we do put it out on our social media too. If someone is in our area and wants to live at the property, like we give them the same listing information and everything. We keep the rents around the market. Like we don't charge extra because we're growing food. Yeah.
Oh.
So we see that coming in the future, though. More people interested. Yeah.
Yes.
Is anybody aware of any resources for people that are looking for housing that have permaculture elements?
Wow, that's a great question. Yeah.
Doing deals with other people, the community connecting.
Yeah. You know what? I think that the more people start growing food and there's more knowledge and awareness of it, there's gonna be more databases like that. Like there's gonna be more places where people can get that information. Where can I live that is growing food? So
Maybe we'll create it one
maybe
day.
exactly.
Yeah.
Consensus that they were volunteering.
Yeah.
Capital sources.
It's definitely Vinny has this thing called the idea jar. That's and we all come up with a lot
So
of
many ideas. I got to quote, the ideas come way quicker than the implementation.
So
You just put them in the jar.
He's like, hey, put that one in the idea jar. But we write it down. But yeah, we have a whole massive list of.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting there. You know, we're 2 years in. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you guys actually do, because I didn't go to that meeting. But you actually help people purchase property and then put a food garden on, or you're doing it.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Your book's coming later.
yeah, the book. Yeah, we have ideas. That's in the idea jar for sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
So right now, long story short, like I've been investing in real estate for the past 10 years, give or take. And Vinny,
like 5 or 6
Vinny and my
years,
wife
yeah.
came in kind of after, and it's great money, investing in real estate, but it's not really soul fulfilling work. It's kind of a cutthroat type of business. So 2020 hit. We started looking at the world in a bigger picture and like what's really going on here, and and then we led into like food and growing food or not growing food, but how our food is grown and all that. And then we were like, hey, we got to start growing our own food and showing. And then we realized that there's more food that exists out there that you can't even find at a grocery store. Yeah. So that kind of got our wheels turning. So then we're like, how do we combine it with real estate? So what we do is now we're buying multifamily properties or single family homes. We've bought a couple recently that we're growing food there to not only to feed our tenants, but also to make good content and show people like, hey, we're doing this, for the community. It's bringing in beneficial insects, and it's deeper than just you pick the fruit. It's there's a snowball that's with it, but being able to feed our tenants and doing something different and inspiring others to like, man, I could buy a duplex or a triplex or a multifamily, put some food on it, start inspiring others. Like it's starting just day by like small, and then growing and expanding from there. So yeah, to answer your question, we buy the properties. Vinny and I mostly. Camila helps a little bit with the flowers.
Hey, it's hard work. Yeah, I'm the
Vinny and
I
I,
put the seeds.
we're like, we maintain them, prune the trees, chopping and dropping the mulch, planting.
All the hard work.
It's in the course. Like you can
we-
see us drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
hard
do
work.
a video with like, we'll
really
look normal,
tough.
and then we're like barely moving, telling the rest of the video. But
That was
but we do have help. There's an edible landscaper. We have a property down just south of here, and his name's his company's
Sam, Inglewood Homegrown.
Inglewood Homegrown.
Yeah, so that's another thing. What
And
we
he
do
helps-
on the properties. We like to collaborate with the people
With
in the
other
area.
growers,
Yeah.
to
'cause
share the
we're-
abundance.
We might be a couple hours away,
Yeah, and that's a big part too. Is like, there's like we get a lot of messages and comments like, "Hey, are you guys hiring? Are you guys hiring?" And we're not at that point right now. But one of our big visions is creating more jobs in this industry to where people could make a nice living. Like they can afford to like grow their own thing and have their own food and feed their families. So, there's really not a lot of jobs right now within this industry. So, So we think about that a lot too, but the idea jar is just it's you can only do so much.
It's lifetime. It's a lifetime. That's how we see it. Yeah.
So great questions.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we thank you all for your time, for your attention. We really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
No other questions? You guys are good? All right.
All right.
Solid.
Awesome.
Awesome. Hey.